Hello and welcome everybody to Play It Bro. Today,
Hey guys.
we're going to be playing Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
So, Robert, why don't you tell everybody the story of why you haven't played this and you call yourself a Castlevania fan?
Because 3D Castlevanias suck ass, at least in my opinion.
That may
having never
objectively
played
be true.
them. But yeah, I do genuinely love the Castlevania games, so I'm excited to give this a try.
Ooh, he's going. Oh, and I forgot, Patrick Stewart is voicing this narrator.
No way in hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got Charles Xavier narrating this bitch.
Yeah.
Sweet, dude.
I know, it's great, dude. They really did go all out with this game, I have to admit. I mean, that right there is what your chain whip looks like.
So that's the vampire killer?
Yeah, right there on the bottom, that's the vampire killer. And apparently there are like different upgrades you can get for that specifically, but I don't know how it works. I didn't really play through the whole game.
Who is supposed to be the hero of this tale? Like which Belmont?
I think it was not Simon, Gabriel Belmont.
Okay, so this is even before Simon then?
Yeah? This is, I want to say so. I don't know if this is necessarily a
1047.
remake.
I think it's its own universe, but it might be canon.
Yeah, it could be. The thing with this one, and I think a lot of people are justified in this, is that lots of people dislike this one because it seemed like a God of War clone.
Okay.
And there are some parts of this game that I would say, yeah, that's definitely a valid argument, but it's not really that much of a bad thing. And I guess that kind of stems from my love for Star Fox Adventures.
Sure.
Where that was a game that was able to replicate the Zelda formula in its own way.
Right.
And I loved that game. And personally, this game, with its lore, it kind of takes Castlevania to a whole nother level. And as a classic Castlevania guy myself, I'm not into any of the newer ones or the weeaboo ones, as I think we've talked about in our Banjo-Tooie
Don't you call
play.
Aria of Sorrow a weeaboo game?
I mean, it's just...
You would understand had you played it.
This one's kind of a best of both worlds type scenario, really, because you get the 3D atmosphere and the classic story.
I actually bet you'd really like, totally off topic, I'm really willing to bet that you would probably enjoy Order of Ecclesia for the DS.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'll have to lend you it sometime, because it's actually... You would find it interesting, because you're not playing as a Belmont at all.
What's that on? Is that...
Nintendo DS.
Oh, I don't even have a fucking DS.
I know. I would lend you my DS in that theoretical situation, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you know.
I like his skull.
Yeah. Okay, and this almost kind of reminds me too, like his little chain thing reminds me of the cross from the Dante's Inferno game.
Yeah, which was also a God of War ripoff. So
right.
It's just going cyclically, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great. Werewolves.
Hey,
oh, no.
You know, that's what you gotta deal with, man. All right, so yeah, so this is gonna.
All right, so seriously, just God of War. So X is for quick attacks and Y is for big old area attacks that take forever. Hooray!
I felt like I should have kept that to myself. Now that I realize it, it's like, maybe if I didn't tell him it's like God of War.
No, I still would have probably drawn conclusions to even the Dante's Inferno game, because I did play through that, admittedly.
Really?
Yeah, somehow I managed to get through that. I would say it was not very good.
Really? I actually kind of enjoy it, to be honest with you.
The Dante's Inferno game?
Yeah, I actually love the book, and for me, when I was going through those in high school, it was always a really fascinating experience, because the English teacher that I had at senior year when I learned about it, he really described, what was it, the 3 different books by Dante Alighieri or whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah.
And he, like, what was it, Paradiso, Purgatorio, and Inferno.
Right.
So, and...
Also, part of the basis of another God of War clone game, Bayonetta, which I actually really adore.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Basically...
anything a clone is... Well, we've had this discussion before, but calling something a clone is so shitty.
Yeah, it's I know what you're talking about, which is it's mostly just the idea of people saying that it's not justifiably good because it's a clone of something else that was already successful. That's a bunch of BS because you can't say that kind of thing because they could take the formula in a whole nother direction and just put a new skin on it, and it's a better game in some ways.
So I gotta say, first impressions already. It does feel like the whip takes up a majority of the screen, or maybe that's just camera angle tricks or something.
Probably. I actually really like the combat style in this. I mean, it is very God of War, but this is coming from somebody who didn't even play all the God of Wars at all. Like, I haven't even played through a single one.
Travel book?
Oh yeah, so you can get like different combos and stuff.
Huh.
And like whip moves and.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is
the one thing it wants me to buy, isn't it?
This isn't a thing in God of War, is it?
Buying skills. It is a thing in a lot of games that try to emulate God of War, to be fair.
Really? That's interesting. I remember that kind of thing being in, like, I don't know. Do you remember the game Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction?
Yes.
That game had a lot of this, like, unlocking combos because you were doing a lot of things like beating the shit out of supervillains and giant people and mechs.
Yeah, a lot of the style of game tends to do that.
But yeah, these guys. Now, this reminds me of something. So, are you familiar with the Underworld series at all?
Yes.
Okay, so have you seen all of them? At least as far. Okay, which ones haven't you seen?
I haven't seen the latest.
Okay, so I haven't seen the latest either, so we're even on that then. Oh god, plot's happening.
And the other one I remember super well because I saw it again recently was the first one, but.
Oh, the original one,
yeah.
You mean? Okay, and I'm
Which
trying to think of.
I gotta say, the makeup doesn't hold up very well. Or maybe it's just the special effects in general don't hold up amazingly.
Yeah, it was the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah,
I think Blade
sure.
was popular at the same time, too. All right, so yeah,
so
here's
now
your
we're
first
being
boss
attacked by
here.
a warg, okay.
Yeah, that really is a warg. I actually didn't even think of that when I played this for the first time. I was like, oh, it's a giant werewolf.
Well, it's a direwolf, so.
Is that what it's called?
Well, wait, what? I don't know what button. I just pressed a dodge. Oh, no. Oh, it's left trigger again. Okay, I guess.
Anyway, so I guess with Underworld, the series, that series actually introduced me to the term Lycan or lycanthrope.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I'm
didn't
actually
know.
surprised you hadn't heard that in fiction beforehand.
No, that was actually that was the series that introduced me to that terminology in the first place.
Wow.
And I thought there was no difference between lycanthrope and werewolf.
Right.
Am I correct in saying that though? It's the same thing. It's werewolf and lycanthrope.
Yeah, I would say it's the same thing for sure. Yeah.
Because for some reason I was always really confused about that. Because it's like, okay, so we've got a lycan, but in the Underworld movies, it always seems like lycans are able to willingly transform back and forth between wolf
right,
form.
And they're also often powered up just as people too, which is even more strange when you really think about it.
So I guess that's why I was
like
always confused about it, because it seems like a lycanthrope actually has control over his supposed quote-unquote curse,
right?
Versus a werewolf, which is actually just poisoned with werewolf venom.
Right. They're ultimately kind of the same thing, I'd say, though. It's just that one is just more of a controlled transformation, or at least in Underworld, it is much more like that.
Yeah. So, okay, so here we go. So this guy... Yeah, so this is where it gets into a little bit of mythology here. I think it's pagan mythology. You're going to love this, I think. So
we're going to get some not necessarily Christian-based opponents or something like that? Or?
I think so. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for you yet because it's a bit of a... It's further into the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, the earlier games go a little bit everywhere when it comes to the creatures that lurk in Dracula's castle and all that. So.
Right. So, and it's been a while. Actually, you know how I actually started playing this game was because I was trying out a free GameFly account.
Ooh, okay.
And I rented this game because of it. So
sponsored by GameFly.
Yeah, right. Shout out to GameFly. GameFly is actually kind of a service that fell off the map really quickly, just because I think Steam kind of became a forefront of gaming. Right. I don't know. I don't know how long Steam's been around.
I would definitely say that game rental has become a lot less prevalent in general, and it's definitely also the access to everything over the internet has certainly also killed businesses, even like GameStop, who now are basically thriving off of pre-order bonuses and getting as many pre-orders as possible.
Right. It's getting insane these days.
Oh no, it's all schmoopy, and it's gonna be blind to all things but love.
Yeah, it's gonna get this way. This almost reminds me of like the story arc in the Lord of the Rings series with Aragorn and what's her name?
It's true.
I can't. What's the name of that woman? I know it's Liv Tyler, but what's the name of the elf? The love interest elf.
Tyliver.
Tyliver? Oh, great.
A very elegant Thai dish, as a matter of fact.
All right, folks. Well, we're running out of time here, but don't worry. We're going to segue into this. We've got some really awesome things coming. Look at that interdimensional horse.
Unicorn.
Look at my horse. My horse is amazing.
I can't wait to be taken all the way to King Arthur himself. Let's go.
Next time on Play It Bro.
Next time.